Hello my friends, thanks for tuning in for another video. My name is Ian with Out of This World Reader, and today's video is going to be the Around the World in 80 Days tag. I was recently tagged by Jeremy Fee, and I really wanted to give it a try because Jules Verne was one of the authors that I grew up on. I read several of his novels because those were the only ones that weren't checked out at my library, as you probably know if you've been here a while. So I really enjoyed just growing up with all those books. So I think without further ado, it's time to jump in and go around the world with some books. The first question is your favorite book set in Eastern Europe or Asia. And for these first one, the first two that I have right here, they're some of my favorites of all time. And that is Uprooted and Spinning Silver. I would say they both take place in Eastern Europe. But I would say if you're looking for more of an autumn kind of book, I would say Uprooted. But if you're looking for more of kind of like a winter atmosphere, kind of cold atmosphere, I would say Spinning Silver. I did reviews for both of these, I believe, and they are some of my favorite books of all time. Like just the atmosphere and everything about them, like they really transported me to Eastern Europe, and I just felt fully immersed in the book, and I love them both. And sadly, I haven't read a lot of books that take place in Asia, but that has been on my TBR. I've got several that I've collected over these last couple months. So in the new year, that is something that I will be doing for sure. Question number 2 is a booktuber that you regularly watch that isn't from your country. And I've got quite a few actually. I think Hugo from Scientist Reading Room, he's from Portugal. Harriet over at Harriet's Book Corner, I believe she lives in the UK, and then Lawrence with Reading with Lawrence, I believe she lives in Canada. So I've got several friends, booktube friends around the world. Question number 3 is a book you DNF'd before the first 80 pages, and I haven't done that yet, but I should have for 2 books. The first one is All the Beautiful Lies by Peter Swanson. There was kind of like a little bit of stepmom, stepson stuff going on, like all that stuff, and I wasn't just about it, and I should have just DNF'd it from that point, because after that I knew who the killer was, and I just didn't enjoy it because mostly of that reason. Like I don't vibe with that. And then another one, The Age of Light, I just felt like it wasn't for me. I was hoping that like the setting of Paris during 1920s, during the Age of Light, I thought that would just be an atmospheric read, but it wasn't. It was pretty boring, and there was just I don't know, like the relationship between the two characters I just didn't like, so I should DNF that one as well. But both of those, I ended up finishing All the Beautiful Lies, but The Age of Light I ended up DNFing later on. Question number 4 is a book that you bought in an airport and you really enjoyed, and I don't think I ever bought a book from the airport. I usually just pack my suitcase with all kinds of books, and that is mostly what I bring. I just bring a ton of books and just read them as I go. So I can't think of any example. I didn't even know they sold books in, I guess, yeah, I did. They sold magazines and stuff, but I just never thought of buying a book at the airport. I don't know why. That just doesn't seem like normal to me. Like I know it's like normal for a lot of people to do that, but not for me. Like I just never thought about that before. Question number 5 is in Jules Verne classic Around the World in 80 Days, Phileas Fogg is a perfectionist, more concerned with his perfection than the amazing places he travels. If that doesn't resonate, describe in which ways you are a perfectionist when it comes to any of your bookish habits. The only things I can think of, this is kind of like one of my bookish habits at all times. I usually try and buy hardcover books. I don't know why, but I just feel like they're gonna last a long time on my shelves, so that when I'm like an old man and I have like a long old beard, they will still be in pristine, or not pristine, but just like still good condition. I don't know why. I also really try and buy UK covers because they're always better looking, in my opinion, than the US covers in most conditions, especially with a lot of Brandon Sanderson kind of novels. Always better with the UK cover. Question number 6 is your favorite book set or linked to Africa. The first one that I got, I really enjoyed. I listened to this as an audiobook, but I'm going to be rereading it this month because the second and final book in the duology just released. And this is Ray Bear by Jordan Flecko. This came out last year, I believe, and it is really something special. Just everything that goes on with it. I almost got like a Black Panther vibes from it, as well as there's like heartwarming and found family in it as well. And I can't wait to reread this and see where it ends in the duology, because I just loved it so much. Even like with listening to the audiobook, like I felt like I lost out on a lot, because my mind just doesn't do very well with fantasy audiobooks. So I'm hoping that with a reread physically, I will just be fully immersed. And the other one that I really enjoyed was The Gilded Ones by Namina Forna. This one also I got a little bit of Black Panther vibes, but just like the kind of setup of having this, if your blood runs gold, then you are sentenced to death. But Deca gets to a second chance to become a warrior and fight these mysterious death streaks. I just really enjoyed how, like, another kind of set of found family and just like at the training academy. And I felt like the only thing I didn't like about it was kind of just the repetitiveness, but it was really great. And actually, I think I did a review on this as well. Question number 7 is, judging by only the first 80 pages, the best book you've read, and then by the last 80 pages, the best book you've read. For the first 80 pages, I would say, this is actually a recent read, For the Wolf. I really just enjoyed kind of the plot, how the first daughter's for the throne, and then the second daughter's for the wolf, and she is sacrificed to the wolf in the wilder wood. I really just like just the plot and the synopsis, and then just like the dark forest setting. Like, I always, if you know me, I always like the dark forest settings, and it reminded me similar to Uprooted. So those first 80 pages, when I got those similar vibes, I knew that I was gonna love it, and I did. I think I ended up giving it 4.5 or 5 stars, but I loved it, and I can't wait to see where it goes in the next book. And then in the last 80 pages, Empire the Vampire by J. Kristoff, like, I had to know how this was going to end, because this is a split and kind of fractured timeline between like a younger Gabriel and an older Gabriel. And I, like, each kind of end of each book ended on like a cliffhanger. So I just had to know, because you would finish one book, it would end on a cliffhanger, and then you would jump back to like an older Gabriel, and then it would leave on a cliffhanger, and then jump back to a younger Gabriel. So by the end, like, I just had to know, and I ended up loving the ending. Like, it was crazy, and it, like, I have a lot of questions, and they need to be answered now. So I don't know when the next book is coming out, but it needs to be soon. Question number 8 is a book that features ethnic or local cuisine, and for this is also a recent read that I really enjoyed as well. The Inheritance of Orcadia Divina. I loved how, like, the family all kind of gathered together in Four Rivers, or they went wherever they were, and they would just make this meal and then eat it. And it was all Ecuadorian kind of cuisine and food. And I just loved how the author, she kind of just used her writing, prose, and everything to describe just everything going on with the food. And it just made me hungry, and I just wanted to cook. Those were the vibes that I got from this, and I really just enjoyed also the family dynamics with them, all them gathering around this food. It was just the best time. Question number 9 is the last nonfiction or travel book that you picked up that doesn't take place in your city. And I just finished No Man's Land by Wendy Moore. This takes place during World War I at the famous all women's run hospital, Endell Street. It was actually the best hospital in like all of the United Kingdom at the time. All the soldiers really wanted to go there, but I've always been interested in World War I history, and I felt like this is a place that I lacked in it, so I really wanted to learn more. And this one wasn't that bad. Like, there was a couple points where I was a bit lost, because it would just get a lot in historical, but for the most part, I really enjoyed this. Question number 10 is any book set in Central or South America, and The Inheritance of Orcadia Divina, even though that takes place in Four Rivers, they do travel to Ecuador, so that is one. And another one that I really enjoyed by Silvia Moreno Garcia is Gods of Jade and Shadow. This is kind of like a Mayan mythology, and I never knew anything about Mayan mythology, and after this, I was intrigued to learn more. So this is one for sure. I can't think of any others besides these two, but this is really great. There's a little bit of romance in between, so if you haven't given it a look, definitely give it a try. I guess Mexican Gothic by Silvia Moreno Garcia also takes place in Mexico, so that is another one. Question number 11 is your favorite book that takes place in another universe, another world, another dimension. And for this is a middle grade, and it really made me feel young again. And this is Lyrian, The World of Lyrian in the Beyonders series by Brandon Mull. There's something special about it. Like, each book added a new level, something new in world building aspects to the world of Lyrian, and it just like through each book, like I felt younger and younger, and I loved everything about it. The portal fantasy aspects, the characters, the different creatures, monsters lurking throughout. Really great. Question number 12 is your dream read in your dream place. And for this, I have to say, just any of the texts or scrolls within the Library of Alexandria. I just felt like a lot of knowledge was lost during that sad catastrophe, but just also like the atmosphere that it could have brought, like being in Alexandria within those giant library and all the different scholars and everything walking around. I felt like that would have just been so motivating and just inspiring. So that is my dream read and dream place. It also has some tag challenges, but I couldn't find any that I could complete, so I'm just going to tag a couple people. I'm first going to tag anybody that hasn't done this. Definitely give it a try. Go around the world with all your books on your bookshelf. But I would like to tag Harriet over Harriet's Book Corner, Reading with Lawrence. I don't think Hugo has done this. I'll tag him. I'm trying to think of anybody else. Those are the only three I can think of at the top of my head, so if you haven't done it, give it a try if you want to. But that is going to be all for today's video. I really hope you enjoyed, but I do look forward to seeing you in the next video. So if you did enjoy this, please consider liking and subscribing so you never miss out on another adventure. But it is time to wish you a good day and leave you with a message from Ellie, who said that adventure is out there. So I'll catch you next time. Bye.